that grew up this year. Now this is a primal cane, but didn't grow up from the ground. It grew up from here on up. Okay, but here's a primal cane that grew up from the ground. There's another one that grew up from the ground. This is not a primal cane, this has branches on it. Okay, if you look at the color, this is the lightest color. This is the next color. Okay, as they age, they get darker. Okay, and like with everything else, there's a recycling process in nature. You know, the thing gets born, it grows up, it does its job, and eventually it has to retire. Like I'm kind of gradually getting there. The ones that get too old are not productive. They suck a lot of energy, right? The old duffers they're the ones that control the bank account, etc., right? And the kids basically, if they want something, they have to go begging or whatever, okay? The same thing is true of a plant. You can say this is probably your original plant, I'm guessing, okay? And it's dead already, at least this part is dead. Okay, there's a cane borer in there. So number one, I would cut that off right to the ground, as low as you can get it. Also remember that the energy to produce the fruit, here are your solar collectors, and they need the sunlight. So if you got too many too close together, they're either all going to starve a little bit, or somebody's not going to get what it needs. So look at the color. Okay, this is the darker one. There's so many things to consider, like the ability to pick efficiently. Now maybe that's not a problem if you have one plant and you don't care if you spend a half an hour picking the fruit or not. But if you're in a commercial situation, the most consuming thing on, at least on our farm, I would say number one is weed control. Number two is probably harvesting berries. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the more efficient you can make the berry harvesting. How do you pick all your own berries over here? You pick all your own berries.
Oh, we do some pick. Some people come and pick for us.
Okay. But then I have to tell you a little story. In 1964, I got a call from a gentleman out of Cleveland by the name of Fred Rutz. I had no idea who Fred Rutz was, but he wanted to fly me to Cleveland to look at a book he had. I won't tell you anything about the book. It's a too-long story. So when I got there, he spent quite a bit of time. You know, I asked him about what he does and that kind of thing. I've been in a lot of palaces, but this was also a very nice house, put it that way. He was one of the few top accountants for General Motors. And he was a very specialized accountant. I forget the name, but it was something like time and motion accounting. So if you're on the assembly line and you're putting the screw on this particular thing and your nut is over here, this is commute time. If you can have your nut right there and you do this, and you do it 10,000 times a day, that saves a heck of a lot of time. I still see people coming out to the farm. They have the container in the hand and they go and pick. Or they pick into the hand and have the big thing over here, mm-hmm. and then they commute back and forth. And now they got to find out where were they over here, and they pick in there and then take it over there, which is extremely efficient. Another thing is nobody wants to bend down to the ground. I mean, I don't know, ever see a whole bunch of people who just love to pick the berries down there and not on top?
Yeah.
Okay, so you might as well eliminate. This is going to get very little light. Okay, very few people are going. You mind if I cut in this?
Please.
It's your plant. I don't want to.
Please prune.
Huh?
Please.
Get it pruned. Huh? Okay. I'm simply going to cut it down to the ground, this whole branch. Did I hear you say, ow?
So this is about 3-year-old wood, maybe?
Now see, this one here starts out being, say this is 4, this is 3, this may be 3, I don't know how long you had it planned. This is 2, the 2, let me actually get, this is 1 year from here on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can also tell if you were a plant sleuth on a crime scene and you had this little part of the plant, you could tell this actually grew up in early spring, okay? Here the days are longer, look how far the nodes are, okay? Then look at the top. See how close the nodes get again? Okay? Which means the days are a whole lot shorter, okay? So the nodes get very close together. So I would cut all this kind of crappy stuff out down below, because this just stands in the way. It's not going to produce anything for you. Keep your fingers out of the way. Okay, this because it has a very nice branch, and you know, if you want to trellis that, obviously you can trellis that upward. I never like branches that are underneath, not with apple trees, not with anything, because they're going to be shaded out largely, right? They're never really going to produce. What about this guy here? He's affecting his neighbor. Okay, this guy's never really going to produce because he's not getting the sunshine. Okay, though this is a, should we stick a Jostaberry plant at our farm again after all these years?
Yeah.
Where'd you get the Jostaberry from? Oregon? Washington? One Green World?
Don't remember.
Well, local nursery, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Wasn't
probably
it Lester
probably
and-
Bailey's. Yeah,
I would
that's
guess
right.
Bailey's.
Bailey's. Yeah.
Bailey should know better. But,
Are you going to take some cuttings? Take some cuttings for.
This would be one that would be okay for cuttings. You got this
Tell us
guy
about
here,
cuttings.
and you got this guy here.
What makes it suitable for cutting?
Huh?
What makes it suitable
Well,
for
it's a,
cuttings?
okay, you got a little something there, whatever that is. You want to grab that? It's a 1-year cane,
Okay.
and it's a nice shape. Do we have any other cuttings we could have? No, these are all kind of crappy. This is 2-year-old. So recognizing the age, I think, is a very critical thing. And that's true of raspberries. It's going to be true of currants. Okay, here it looks like we have a sucker.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, from the original plant.
Yeah, this is a Jostaberry, by the way.
I hit my ear. Pardon me?
This is a Jostaberry, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, put that out. Certainly take this out. Anytime you have a branch crossing, one of the two have to go. Okay. And all this stuff really should come off from there on. I keep
feels so much
hitting my
better.
ear. Any of you familiar with Lyme disease?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My biggest pain in the last 8, 9, 10, 12 weeks have been my ears. They're like they're on fire.
Yeah.
And they're okay until I touch it.
Looking good.
Well, you know, you could trim up a little fine little, take all these little dinky things out, and I would probably find a way to lift this guy up.
Okay, so next year will we want to take out that
Yeah,
old
I
wood
think
down
we
at the
should be
base?
working on this guy, and this guy, because okay, this one grew up last year, put out 2 years ago, put out the branches this last season, and is going to produce the fruit. This guy's going to put out branches. Okay, this guy's going to put out branches. Should I leave this guy or not? I always say, if in doubt, cut it out. there.
Gone.
Okay.
So this next year, which branches are they getting fruit on?
Well, you're going to get fruit on all these branches. Basically, on 1 and 2 year old. 1 year old means some that grew up last year. It's going to produce this year. This grew up this year is going to produce well next year and the year thereafter. By the time it gets to the third year, it's kind of like iffy. By the time it gets to the fourth year, it should have been retired. Okay, you're looking at age of 100 years old. You know, you're not going to send a guy out like that to prune or do anything like that.
So, thank you very much, Paul. This is Paul Otten from Berry Communications at the Honeyberry Farm.